Do you want to look back years from now and wish you had taken the bold step to start that business? This is the career you've always dreamed of. And it's okay if at some point this is all you wanted and now you've realized this is not a fit. But the most important part is it in line with your purpose? Something changed getting to the latter part of it. In 2023, I decided to leave banking to pursue entrepreneurship full time. Hi, my name is Daniel, and you're welcome to episode 11 of the Tea Time Global podcast. After episode 10 went live on all platforms, I decided to go back and listen to all the episodes we've released so far, starting from episode 1, where I shared with you why I began podcasting, through to episode 10. Guys, I noticed the stuff I share on here are real gems. It's taking years of researching, learning, and testing. Before I started podcasting, I would listen to other podcasts where they invite accomplished people and they'll ask them, how did you start your business empire? How did you make your first million? And they'll say great stuff. By the end, they'll add, this was 20 years ago, this was 10 years ago, this was 5 years ago. What I've really done is to put together all the stuff that works. And this stuff you can work on real time to help you achieve these results. These are the stuff I share on the podcast. Imagine you went to a doctor's with an illness and you're not sure what is wrong, and he tells you, I know exactly what is wrong with you, and I'm going to prescribe medication to you. And this medication is the same medication I'm taking. How would that make you feel? If the doctor who's prescribing the medication is also taking the same medication, then it will make you pretty comfortable that the illness is going to go away. I know there are a lot of podcasts out there, and sometimes you feel like this is just another podcast. No, we're the only podcast that shares with you strategies that drive you to success, and we do it with you. I haven't shared this on the podcast before, but I'll let you in on a little secret. At one point, I considered taking a break from the podcast because I wasn't quite sure if you listeners were deriving value from what I was sharing on here. And I was in a dilemma between focusing on building and returning to the podcast much later, or continue sharing the strategies and ideas with you all. So I took a break, and I'll get constant messages and emails. The final action that tipped the balance over for me to return was that just before I left for Europe for my summer break, I went to a friend's birthday party and I met a gentleman there. And then he walked up to me and said, I know you. And yeah, it was a friend's birthday party, so this shouldn't be a big deal if someone walks up to you and says they know you. But then I knew I hadn't met this gentleman before. So we had a longer conversation, and he says, I know you have a podcast, and I've noticed you haven't released any new episodes. And I listen to them and I really find them helpful, so do not stop posting. That day, I decided that even if one person out there finds value from all of these things that I say and post, then it's a win for us. Because if one person is driven to take action, that's all this podcast is about. This is the same reason why I decided to talk to you today about why you should leave your 9 to 5. And I'm going to share with you how to do that. So this episode is not for everybody. In 2023, I decided to leave banking to pursue entrepreneurship full time. At the time, it felt as if I was jumping off a plane with no parachute. Throughout my time in banking, I do not recall there was ever a day I would wake up from bed, even on a Monday, even though people say nobody likes Mondays. I would wake up and I would always be super excited to go to work. I loved the firm. I loved my team. My team was super amazing. So I'd always be excited to go to work. But something changed getting to the latter part of 2023. I would literally have to drag myself to work. I'd gotten another promotion that year, and I was leading a great team. Things were generally good. So I couldn't quite figure out what the problem was. My initial thought was maybe I'm just tired, so I need to take a couple of days off. So I took my annual leave so that I could go and rest. During the break, I started to reflect on what my long term goals were and what my plan was to achieve them. This was when I noticed what the problem was. I'd realized that even though I loved my job, deep down, I didn't feel like it was in line with my long term goals. I knew at some point I wanted to be a founder, I wanted to be an entrepreneur, I wanted to solve problems. But then I couldn't quite figure out how my current role tied into that. You see, as long as it made us do more efficient stuff and boosted our results, I was driven to find solutions to it. I loved problem solving. And even things that were outside of my core function, I was driven to do them. That's how passionate I was about my work. But it's for the same reason why entrepreneurship was fascinating to me. Find a problem, create a solution to it, and then you have a business. So after I took time off to go and rest, I realized that I had a bigger problem. I came back even more confused than I was before because I didn't know whether to leave or to stay. I started texting friends, and the text was pretty simple. And I think I knew the answer that my friends were going to tell me, but I still decided to send it regardless. In the text, I was asking the question, if someone said they wanted to quit their job and didn't have any other job offer, what would be your advice to them? And I'm sure you guessed their response. It's stupid. Don't do it. And personally, I think I have a natural ability to be able to make tough decisions relatively faster than the average. So one morning, while taking my shower to work, I made that decision. And then I made the decision to resign. You see, I'm sharing this with you because I know there's somebody out there listening to this and feels the same way. You wake up in the morning, commute to work, and dread it. Not because you're lazy or because it's stressful, but because you know you're meant for something bigger. And I'm sure you're listening to me right now as you drive to work or back home from work or you lay in your bed. Do you want to look back years from now and wish you had taken the bold step to start that business? Turn off your phone, move away from every distraction, and have that honest conversation with yourself. If money wasn't the problem, would you still show up? Is this the career you've always dreamed of? And it's okay if at some point this is all you wanted and now you've realized this is not a fit. But the most important part is it in line with your purpose? And if you're yet to find purpose, you might want to listen to episode 2 of the podcast titled Halftime Strategy, or episode 7, which is Living Your Purpose. These are good episodes to listen to really get a sense of what your purpose is, how to find it, and all of those things. But let me be quick to add again, entrepreneurship or starting a business is not for everybody. Oftentimes, people have the idea of freedom from, but really need to have the mindset of freedom to. I remember when I left, people would reach out and ask me, I want to leave my work because it's very stressful. How do I go about it? And I'll tell them, if the only reason you want to leave is because the work is stressful, then I think you should really stay, because personally, that's not why I left and I can't offer a solution to that. That's a freedom from mindset. The freedom to mindset is, I want to do something. However, my current job prevents me from doing it. Leaving your job gives you freedom to do this thing that you've always dreamed of, and that's why you want to leave. Not freedom from the work. Have an honest conversation with yourself. And after you decide that this is something you want to do, now I'm going to show you how to quit your 9 to 5. The first thing you need to do is have a blueprint. What do I want to do after I quit? How long can I financially sustain myself without a paycheck? What are the skill sets I need to sharpen before I make that leap? Is there a problem you think you can solve? Are you passionate about it? Will an objective third party see that you're willing to push through this? Map out what it is that you want to do. Are these things that need regulatory approval? Where do you begin from? Are there people you need to speak to? How much of the plan really depends on you and how much of it depends on someone else? And I'll be really mindful of any plan that requires significant contribution from another party to succeed. Because then if the other party disappoints you, then everything is messed up. And this is not to say do not partner with people. However, understand how much of the plan depends on you so that you know how to go about it. And this blueprint should come with strict timelines that you can commit to. And after you have the blueprint, the next thing to do is find your leverage. When I was leaving my firm, I knew that if things didn't go well and I decided that I wanted to come back at any point in time, it was possible. And nobody had given me any assurances, but then I knew that my firm would be always ready to accept me. Also, some firms will allow for sabbaticals or leave of absence periods. These are all options you can take advantage of to be able to go and test that idea. And if your firm doesn't have these options, you can leverage on personal relationships. What this does is that gives you time to dip your feet into the water and then feel it out. So now you have your blueprint. You figured out what your leverage is going to be. The third thing and the final thing I'd like to share with you is get the hell out. Yes, you see, because the longer you stay, the more your dreams keep waiting for you. Remember, the world is changing and the solutions that are feasible now might not be feasible tomorrow. Or someone would have even gone ahead to build the solution you're thinking about. And this has happened to me several times. I'll think of a solution I wanted to build, and after a while, I'll see that someone has just launched a similar thing. You probably won't be able to check every single box on your list before you make that decision. And it might feel like it's not 100% right. You'd ask yourself, what about all this money I'm leaving on the table? Would I be able to afford this life outside of a 9-to-5? You're meant to feel that way, and it's normal. Because think about it, if it's an easy decision, everyone would have done it. When I was leaving, I had almost everybody I knew tell me it was a wrong decision. And they were valid, because who wakes up in the morning and says you're quitting your job? People would say the time wasn't right, wait a little longer. In the times when you question yourself whether this is the right decision you're making. But then it's meant to feel that way. And that's why most people don't do it. And sometimes your firm will trying to keep you would dangle offers at you. But you see, for most people, it's okay. But for you, it's bigger than you. There's a bigger purpose to accomplish. So this episode is for people who feel inside of them, people who have sleepless nights, people who go out and see the problems that people face and are driven to solve them. You know you have the ideas and you have the solutions to solve these problems. Get the hell out, start that business, because the world needs it. It's bigger than you. Folks, that's all we have for this episode today. And a recap of this episode that I've shared with you is how to quit your 9-to-5. We have a surprise for you in episode 12, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out. And do not forget to share your thoughts with us on all social media platforms. We're on LinkedIn, we're on Instagram and TikTok at Tea Time Global as one word. T is spelled T-E-E. Catch you on the next episode.